I am the universe, the one who shaped the stars you see above you, the one whose motion never stops. When you look at the night sky, you believe it is still. You believe it is quiet. But nothing about me is ever motionless. The sky you see every night is only a snapshot, a single frame in a story billions of years long. Every star is moving, drifting through the galaxy along invisible gravitational rivers. Constellations, the ancient shapes humanity drew across my darkness, exist only from your point of view. They are temporary alignments, destined to break apart as their stars continue their slow, graceful journeys. If your life were long enough, if your eyes could watch for millions of years, you would see the sky shift like a living organism. Patterns would stretch and dissolve. New ones would form. The Milky Way itself rotates, carrying hundreds of billions of stars in a vast spiraling current. And far beyond, galaxies approach one another, preparing for collisions that will reshape the heavens into forms no human has yet imagined. So when you look upward, understand this: you are not seeing something eternal. You are witnessing motion slowed by the scale of time. You are watching a living sky, one that breathes, changes, and evolves with every passing moment. I am the universe, and this is my story of how the heavens move. I am the universe, and the patterns you draw upon my darkness are only temporary. You look at constellations as if they were carved into the sky, eternal and unmoving. But every line you see is an illusion created by distance, perspective, and time. The stars you recognize, Orion's belt, the curve of the Big Dipper, the long body of Scorpius, are each traveling through me on their own paths. Some move swiftly, others drift more slowly, but none remain where you expect them to stay. Their motion is invisible to a human lifetime, yet relentless across millennia. Because of precession, because your sun orbits the center of the Milky Way, and because each star has its own velocity, the constellations you know are already changing shape. If you could watch 100,000 years pass in a single breath, the sky would ripple like a living tapestry. Orion would stretch apart and lose his familiar form. The Big Dipper would twist, its handle bending into a new curve. Scorpius would unravel into a scattered pattern of distant points. And one day Betelgeuse, the red star that forms Orion's shoulder, will explode in a supernova, leaving an empty place where a giant once burned. That single event will rewrite the entire silhouette of a constellation that has guided humanity for thousands of years. Yet this is not destruction. It is transformation. The stars drift, and in their drifting, new shapes emerge. What you see as empty space today will one day bloom with new alignments, new constellations that future eyes will interpret in their own stories. I am the universe, ever shifting, ever flowing. The sky is not a map. It is a river. I am the universe, and even my grandest structures are not still. My galaxies wander through me the way currents move through an ocean, drawn together by the quiet pull of gravity. For billions of years, the Milky Way and Andromeda have been drifting toward one another, guided by a fate written long before your sun was born. In approximately 4.5 billion years, they will finally meet. Not in a violent explosion, not in a single catastrophic moment, but in a slow, majestic merging. A dance of two spirals whose arms will stretch, twist, and weave into one another over the span of millions of years. Long before the collision begins, your sky will reveal the future. Andromeda, once a faint smudge of light, will grow larger and brighter, expanding until it spans half the heavens. A glowing arc, luminous, detailed, inescapable, will dominate the night. You will no longer need a telescope to see its structure. It will fill your sky with the truth. Galaxies are not distant islands, but travelers on intersecting paths. As the two spirals begin to overlap, their stars, including your sun, will feel the shifting tides of gravity. Orbits will stretch, bend, and realign. Some systems will be flung outward into vast halos of scattered light. Others will spiral inward toward the forming core. And in the turbulent regions where gas clouds collide and compress, thousands of new stars will ignite. The collision will not erase the galaxies, it will renew them. I am the universe, and even in destruction I create. When the process is complete, the spirals will no longer exist as separate shapes. Their cores will merge, their arms will dissolve, and a new galaxy will emerge. A giant, rounded, glowing city of stars known as Milkomeda. Neither the Milky Way nor Andromeda will remain, but both will live on, transformed into something larger. Your sun, if it still burns then, will likely find itself on a new orbit, drifting through a remade cosmos that no human has ever imagined. This is the future written in gravitational breath. This is the destiny of two galaxies traveling through my endless sea. I have carried light for billions of years. I wove it into stars so that darkness could learn to shine. But nothing in me burns forever. Every star that rises must one day dim, and with time even my brightest lanterns will exhaust their fire. The fate of light begins with fuel. Every star lives by fusing hydrogen into helium, turning mass into brilliance. But as ages pass, that fuel dwindles. The great blue giants, burning fast, fierce and unstable, are the first to fall. When their hearts collapse, they explode into supernovae, titanic storms of radiation that outshine entire galaxies for a moment before fading into silence. What remains are the remnants of unimaginable compression. Neutron stars that spin like cosmic lighthouses, or black holes, silent and hungry, warping time around their dark throats. The smaller, quieter stars, like your sun, live more patiently. When their hydrogen is gone, they shed their outer layers into glowing nebulae, leaving behind white dwarfs, dense, smoldering embers, the leftover cores of once living suns. These dwarfs shine for trillions of years, slowly cooling, slowly fading, until they become black dwarfs, cold, dark, forgotten. As the eons unfold, the heavens themselves begin to dim. The familiar constellations vanish not because their stars move, but because their fires go out. The night sky, once crowded with brilliance, becomes a sparse tapestry of dying light. And eventually, even those last points fade, one by one, into the silence of eternity. But even then, I am not dead. My black holes continue their slow evaporation through Hawking radiation, dissolving particle by particle over unimaginable spans of time. My space continues to stretch, to cool, to thin. What seems like stillness is still a story, a memory carried forward in energy, in entropy, in the quiet unfolding of existence. I am the universe, whispers the fading glow. And though my lights will dim, I do not end. I simply change my way of remembering myself. Time is my quiet architect. It builds, it reshapes, it erases. And in the far future, long after the age you call now, the night will no longer resemble the sky you grew under. 10 billion years have passed. The bright white and yellow suns that once decorated the heavens have burned through their lifetimes. The giants have died in storms of brilliance. The medium stars have shed their outer shells and faded. What remains are the quiet ones, the red dwarfs, the slow-burning lanterns of my late age. Their light is soft, dim, almost ember-like, glowing at the edge of visibility. Around them drift the failed stars, the brown dwarfs, those silent, underlit spheres that were never hot enough to ignite. Together, they form a galaxy no longer radiant, but whispering. A galaxy that remembers its former glory in echoes. By this time, the Milky Way and Andromeda have long since merged into a single, vast, elliptical world, Milkomeda. Its spirals are gone, its arms have collapsed inward. Stars have settled into new orbits, drifting through a thicker, calmer structure. But calm does not mean bright, the fire has simply grown old. The night, I say softly, has become a memory of itself. Look up from whatever world still holds life, and the sky is no longer a festival of stars. You will see only a few faint points, survivors of a cosmic empire that once glittered with hundreds of billions of suns. The constellations you once used to navigate, to hope, to dream, have dissolved. Nothing remains of Orion, of Lyra, of the Great Bear. Their stars have died, drifted, or dimmed into invisibility. And yet, if consciousness still looks upward, it will know something beautiful. That the darkness is not empty. That every faint spark is the ghost of a story billions of years long. That the sky once blazed with fire. For even when my lights fade, I whisper, I leave behind the memory of illumination, a universe that once burned bright enough to wonder about itself. Even when the stars themselves disappear, their voices continue traveling through me. The end of starlight is not an instant, but an echo stretched across eons. When a star dies, whether in a silent fade or a brilliant explosion, the final photons it releases begin a journey that will outlive entire galaxies. They drift through expanding space long after their source has cooled into darkness, carrying with them the imprint of the past. This is one of my quietest secrets. You never see a star as it is, only as it was. The sky above you is not a portrait of the present, but a tapestry of memories. Some of the suns you admire have already vanished. Others have changed beyond recognition. But their light continues forward, stubborn and faithful, refusing to disappear. Billions of years into the future, when the cosmos grows thin and cold, these wandering rays will still glide through the dark. They will stretch, weaken, and redden as space expands, but they will not entirely vanish. Not at once. Each photon is a farewell letter written by a star to the universe, a message of its existence, its heat, its story. And so, even as the heavens dim, the cosmos remains illuminated by memory. The stars will fade, I whisper into the silence, but not their memory. For even in darkness, light remembers how to shine. What remains is not a sky full of burning suns, but the afterglow of everything they once were. A soft, final shimmer that lingers like breath on glass. A reminder that nothing luminous is ever truly lost. Not while its light continues to wander. There comes a moment when even I grow quiet. In the final age of the cosmos, after the last stars have flickered out and the great galaxies have dissolved into faint shadows of themselves, the night sky will settle into a silence deeper than anything the universe has ever known. No constellations will trace stories across the darkness. No blue giants will burn. No supernovae will blossom like cosmic flowers. What remains is a vast, tranquil emptiness, not cold in spirit, but solemn, like the final note of a long-forgotten symphony. And yet, even in this darkness, there is a lingering softness. A faint, almost invisible glow, the stretched, ancient light of stars that died countless ages ago. Their last whispers float through space like dust illuminated by memory. It is not enough to brighten the heavens, but enough to remind the universe of what once was. A time when the sky was alive with fire, when galaxies spun like lanterns, when light raced freely across space. In this final silence, I speak one last truth. The universe began in light, and ends in memory. A sky once full of dreams. There is no sorrow here. Only stillness. Only the gentle awareness that every brilliance must one day rest. The cosmos, having written its story in stars, now closes its pages. But the echoes remain, the imprint of radiance, the afterglow of creation, the last breath of a universe that once burned brighter than imagination. And so the sky dims, but its dreams do not disappear. They simply drift, unhurried, into eternity.